What's going on, man? It's Vash, and I want to do this video, man. Like, it's 2016, January 1st, man. It's the first day, so I'm just kind of like, you know what? Let me do a video, and I decided to do a video of like what the fuck moments in manga. It don't necessarily have to be a what the fuck moment that was particularly shocking or particularly good. It could just be a moment in manga that made me go, the fuck? You know, so I decided to do that, and I did 6 of them because it's 2016, so I did 6 of them. And before we even get into it, I'm telling you now, there are obvious spoilers in this shit, okay? Obvious spoilers. I'm telling you now. So if I'm listing series, I don't know, these series are kind of obscure, so they might not have that much of a cult following, I don't know, but there are spoilers, so you might not want to watch this shit if you want to get into the series, is what I'm saying. And before I actually reveal what the fuck moment is, I'm going to give it a little headline, and then I'm going to give you some backstory about the series. Then I'll get into what the actual fucking event was that made me go, what the fuck. So here we go. It's in no particular order. You know what I'm saying? It is 6 of them, but it's in no particular order. Not from, best to worst or worst to best. Some shit like that. It's just in no particular order. I'm just going to do this shit as the way I wrote it down on my piece of paper right here. So I'm just going to do it in that order. So here we go. At number 6, we have Prison School 168. Chapter 178, titled "We Are Not Alone." Basically, everyone has, if you've seen Prison School, you know what it's about. But for those who haven't, basically it's about 4 dudes who enroll in what was previously an all-girls school, and they are sort of the first test subjects. And right off the bat, they are subject to just weird and sort of biased behavior because they are boys. And they end up, an event ends up happening where they get caught peeking in the bath, and they end up getting sent to the prison by the Underground Student Council. And they have a bunch of hijinks. It's sort of a comedy, but it's drawn very well. It has serious sort of overtones or whatever, and it's quite funny. But the boys are sent to prison where they have to live out the rest of their school life, constantly under scrutiny by the Underground Student Council, and it just makes for a hilarious sort of comedy, yet surreal in a way, but it's actually pretty funny. And chapter 178 was one of the moments that not only was it funny, but I seriously went, what the fuck? One of the main protagonists of the series is a male named Kiyoshi, and Kiyoshi has these sort of interactions with one of the members of the Underground Student Council, whose name is Hana. And one of the situations that happened was he accidentally fell off a tree and saw her pissing, right? And since then, she has become obsessed with seeing him pee. And then he accidentally peed on her when she was trying to watch him pee. And by watch, I mean force him to pee while she watches. He accidentally peed on her. Then he accidentally made her pass out because his dick touched her inner thigh. And then and he kissed her to the point to where she actually started to fall for this character or whatever. And it's just weird, awkward moments between the two of them. In chapter 178, leading up to chapter 178, she was in his room, and she was telling him that it's gonna happen now. I'm gonna pee on you, and I'm gonna watch you pee inside of this bottle that has the top cut off so that a dick can fit inside of it. And they actually get undressed. She said she wants to do it in the Ouroboros, which is a reference to 69 or whatever. And they get underneath the futon or whatever. Well, underneath the covers of the futon. And they're both completely fucking nude. But because it's dark under there, he can't really see her the way that he wants to, and she luckily doesn't see him or whatever. And they are almost caught by Gakuto, who is another male protagonist, and by Kiyoshi's crush. He actually has a girl there who he has a crush on, and they're almost caught by the two of them as the girl he has a crush on starts to clean. So everything's starting to look bad, but they eventually leave. Gakuto and the crush eventually leave. And right after this moment, I'll say right afterwards, right after those two walk out of the door, Hana proceeds to piss all over Kiyoshi's face. Just a fucking rain of urine. Just the ultimate golden shower. And 178 showed his reaction to that shit. And he had this weird ass montage of him being on a beach with Hana, running through like a crowd, riding a motorcycle, and he's just sitting on the edge of the bed. Here's his face. He's sitting on the edge of the bed with the most disheveled look on his face, and he proceeds to scream, "Is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted? Are you satisfied now? How can I go on knowing that I've been pissed on? What the fuck am I supposed to do now? How can I face everybody knowing that I've been pissed on? How can I face Chio knowing that I've been pissed on? How? How can I do that? Tell me. Say something. You've been quiet this whole time. Say something." And Hana, who had gotten dressed by this point, was actually leaving. She turns back around, faces Kiyoshi, and she kisses him. And I was already like, what the fuck? Because of the piss. But I was doubled what the fuck because of the kiss. That rhymed. I was like, she just kissed him. I knew she liked him, but like, she just kissed him. And he was covered in urine. Next one on my list that I did for this What the Fuck Moments in Manga is Sankareya, the epilogue. Now, leading up to the end of it, it was pretty fucked up anyway, but the epilogue in particular had me really, really fucked up. Sankareya is about it's a series, it's a horror sort of series or whatever. I'm assuming it's saying it because it kind of got adultish sort of themes, even though they're kids. But it's a horror series revolving around this kid named Chihiro Furuya, and he has this weird obsession with zombies. He wants his first girlfriend to be a zombie. He watches zombie movies all the time, and he's just a weird zombie obsessed kid. And there's another character in the series whose name is Rhea Sanka, which is the title of the series backwards, whatever, right? Her name is Rhea Sanka. She was born into the Sanka family, which is this prestigious sort of old school rich family or whatever. And again, like I said before in the beginning of the video, there are obvious spoilers to the shit. But she wants to escape that life. She doesn't like being a part of the Sanka family, mainly because she has to portray this image of herself that really isn't who she is. And the biggest part of it is that she gets molested by her father constantly. Not that he's touching her in an inappropriate way, not that he's sexually doing anything to her, but he, since her birth, has been taking naked pictures of her every year on her birthday to record her development, as he says, every year. And at this point in the story, I think she's supposed to be 16, around that age, 15 to 16. And he's been taking pictures of her all that time. Yeah, so she doesn't want to be a part of that life anymore. She just wants to live the life of a normal girl, have friends, hang out with people, you know, go on dates if she can. And she's not allowed to because she's a part of this family. And it seems that her father is raising her to be untouched so that he can do it himself, it seems like. So the male protagonist, Chihiro, he has a cat named Babu, and the cat was ran over by a truck, but oddly enough his guts didn't spill out. But he was ran over by a car, and in his desperation to bring his cat back, Chihiro tried to do a resurrection sort of thing. He wanted to bring the cat back as a zombie no matter what, because Babu was his friend. And he found a book in the property that he lives on. He lives in a shrine. He found a book that had all these weird ass fucking notes in it on how to resurrect someone from the dead. And that's what he does. He proceeds to go through all these shits in order to resurrect his dead cat, and he has to use various forms of poisonous leaves in order to do it. Well, he did these experiments inside of the school that he goes to, and every night at that school, Rhea Sanka would go to yell her frustrations out into a well, and he happened to overhear it, and she happened to see him, and because of that, they ended up sort of together doing the experiment to resurrect Babu. In doing so, he actually made a potion with the help of Rhea that had hydrangea leaves inside of it that she got from a cliff. And when they made it, she actually took some herself. She stole it from him or whatever, took some for herself in order to commit suicide later on that night. She drank the potion in order to die, but the next day she woke up and it didn't work. She did die. But certain events happened, and she was accidentally knocked off of a cliff by her father trying to protect a resurrected Babu, and she ends up dying. Her insides are pierced by a tree branch or something that was hanging off of the edge of this cliff, and she ends up dying. But because she drank the potion, she's now a zombie. And that's pretty much the story. But in the epilogue, leading up to the epilogue, she eats the main character's heart because she lost herself, she lost her memories or whatever because her brain cells were degenerating. And she ate the main character's heart, and by eating his heart, she gained those sort of memories back or whatever, and she remembered who she was, blah, 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 blah. In the epilogue, it just starts off with two kids, a boy and a girl named Rai, and I can't remember the boy's name, but it's just an epilogue, and they're talking about a witch that lives in, like, the woods, that lives in this particular area, and she's a scary fucking person and all that sort of shit. And the kids go there to kind of see what this legend is about. They're just kind of fucking around. And when they get there, they are actually greeted by this witch. And the kids run terrified. They leave and they're fucking terrified. But then in the end, we see that it's actually Rhea. And she says, wait, you didn't let me thank you for the hydrangea leaves that you brought me. Oh, and tell your grandmother that I said hi. Now, that might not mean anything to you, but there were some characters in there who she knew, and one of them was the cousin of the main character, Chihiro, whose name was Ranko. And I can only assume, because the author actually said, this end is up to your own interpretation. She said, to your grandmother I said hi, and the look on her face, as you can see, the look of this character, I'm going to do a comparison, you can see it, the look of this character, time had obviously went by. Rhea looks disheveled like a motherfucker. She can't age, of course, but she looks like, you know, a lot has happened in the time that went by. And she said, grandmother, your grandmother, to your grandmother I said hi, not to your grandparents. So by that, I'm just assuming that the main male character, Chihiro, even though he survived having his heart eaten because he had an artificial heart in place of it, I'm assuming he didn't live too much longer after that and died long enough to at least father a child that had grandchildren, I'm assuming. So that was a moment where I was just like, damn, that epilogue was seriously, seriously fucked up. And it freaked me the fuck out, seeing Rhea like that. And it freaked me out to think about that the main character had fucking died. Next on my list, we have Dusk, Maiden of Amnesia. Can't remember how it sounds in Japanese. Can't remember that shit. But this is the last chapter. That's the headline that you got. Last chapter. I should have called it Carried Away or Spirited Away. But the last chapter is the one moment that had me fucked up. This series is about a kid named Taiichi Nia who, I think he's a first-year middle school student, which I'm not happy with, to be honest with you, because of the nature of the story. He was a first-year middle school student, and he goes to this school where the high schools and the middle schools are connected. There's an old part and a new part. He wanders into the old part where he meets a girl whose name is Yuko Kanaway. It turns out that Yuko Kanaway is a ghost who is tied, anchored, haunts this school, if you will, or whatever. And through certain sort of events, she becomes attached to him. He also becomes attached to her. They fall in love. That's pretty much the story. There's some shit that's in between it too, because it's sort of a horror series. It's a horror romance sort of series, but there's some shit that's in between it. But that's the basic gist of the story. She's a ghost. She's a kid, and they fall in love with one another. But because of certain events, with her having regrets in life, she can't actually, with her having any regrets in life, that's kind of what ties her into this world. But when those regrets are gone, she won't be anchored to this world anymore. So, the last chapter of this series, she has since gone. She's faded away into nothingness, into non-existence. And Taiichi is not happy about that shit. He's sort of depressed about it. He's not happy about it. So, he actually starts to spread more rumors about the ghost girl Yuko in hopes that because she's being talked about, because there is a longing for her, that she will eventually come back. And then one of the stories, as is being told as we're reading through this chapter, was that they heard a story of how Yuko carried away a student in this school. Took him away. Just took away a student in this school. And as he's running towards the school gate, he sees Yuko. And he says Yuko, and she says Taiichi-kun or whatever. And they are together forever, as the ending narration says. He says, have you come to take me away? Have you come to get me? Something along those lines. And they are together forever. So, now I know to you, you might be like, there's nothing, it's just a happy story, they end up being together forever. But I do know of legends where humans are whisked away by spirits, And that's what went through my mind when I read this. I thought that either she literally took him away from his world, or the one theory that I had that just fucked me up for a long time until the epilogues came out, I thought that he committed suicide. Because in this running sequence, we see no one else. They're showing students in the school, but we see no one else around Taiichi. And the last time we saw Taiichi, he was on the roof of the school. He was on the roof of the school. So I was just like, did this motherfucker just jump? Did he commit suicide? And that's how he's seeing her now? He's seeing her because he's also dead? Because there were no other students in his sequence of running. In his sequence of running towards that gate, there were no other students around. So I was just like, did he commit suicide? And that fucked me up for a long time when I read that. Next one on the list is Nozoki Anna, and the headline is called Nanking. For those of you who are actually knowledgeable of history, that title is going to make sense later on. But Nozoki Anna is a series about a girl named Imaru, and she is a neighbor of the male protagonist whose name is Takahito Kido or whatever. And he is a sort of timid sort of guy or whatever, and she is a girl who seems timid and shy at first, but it turns out that she's just really hard to approach, and that she is a massive perv in a sense, because there is a peephole that connects their two rooms together, and she decides, we're going to initiate a peeping game. You can peek on me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to go Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and it is off limits on Sunday. We will not tell anyone else about these rules, and if you say that you don't want to do the game anymore, I'll expose this picture of you barging into my apartment unannounced. That's the basic story of it. But one chapter that had me fucked up was there was a character that Imaru let inside of her room, primarily to kind of entice the male protagonist Kido. She wanted Kido to look through the peephole to see whatever the hell was going to happen between her and this male character that she invited over her house. This male character was a guy who was sort of suave and sophisticated, and he seemed like he had all the girls in the school. Ladies man, light-skinned nigga if you will. But he seemed like he had all the girls in the school, and I thought so too. Like, based on his introduction and based on the way he was talking, I just thought he was just some dude who got all the bitches. I was just like, damn, you know, it's always that one character who can do that shit. Turns out this guy is a massive fucking rapist. He rapes girls to make them subject themselves to him. He rapes them because no one wants to talk about rape. So who's gonna bring it the fuck up if you get raped? That's mostly how rapes go unsolved. No one wants to talk about it. So he would rape these girls, and because that event happened between the two of them, the rapist and the rapee, some sort of Stockholm syndrome would develop in a way. And that's what he was doing to Imaru in that chapter. He actually forced himself upon her. She hit him with a coffee cup, and he forced his fingers inside of her. And that was the most graphic shit I've seen in a romance, erotic manga ever. I was like, what in the fuck? He took his pants off. He was actually planning to rape her. And I was shocked by that twist. Seriously, oh what the fuck face. I had no idea that shit was even coming up. I had no idea that was going to even be in this series that primarily showed consensual sex a lot. A lot of consensual fucking. But this douche unleashes a fucking rape. And he's done it several fucking times with other girls. I was just like, whoa. Wasn't expecting that shit. The next one is Bloody Monday, and the headline is K. Bloody Monday is a series about a kid who... Fuck, I can't remember his fucking name. It began with a T. I can't remember his real name. But he has the alter ego as Falcon, and Falcon is an expert hacker of some sort. He can hack anything or whatever. He's just... He stops crimes and all that bullshit. And that's pretty much what his character is. But the series itself revolves around this virus that has been brought into Japan called Bloody Monday, where it kind of spontaneously melts the inside organs of the person who was exposed to the virus. It is a biological, biological agent made for biochemical warfare to wipe out this central hub of Japan, which is Tokyo, in order to incite some sort of weird ass control in a way, almost like on some Illuminati plot type of shit. Well, it was initiated by a person named K. K is the leader of this terrorist organization, organization, and K is the central antagonist of the series. And it was revealed who K was, who the acting K is, because the original K was a person named Simon, and this person died. Simon actually died. And it was revealed that the K in question, who was orchestrating this shit, was one of the main female characters, supporting female characters, I'm gonna say supporting, but she's technically a main character, named Mako Anzai, who had an obsession with Falcon. She was one of Falcon's classmates in his school, but she was the orchestrator of all this shit. She was Kate. She was the mastermind behind this biological agent coming to Japan and fucking shit up. It was her. And nigga, I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't thrown for a loop by that shit. I am not even gonna tell you no fucking lie. A lot of shit shocked me in that show. In that series, I'm sorry. A lot of shit shocked me in that manga. A lot of shit in manga shocked me in general. But when I got to that point, I was just like, wow, that is the most unassuming, timid ass girl ever. And I was just like, yeah, she's just a girl who's obsessed with this hacker. I didn't give a shit. She's just some background character. We see her from time to time when she helps out with Falcon or whatever, because he revealed that he was indeed Falcon to these kids or whatever. So I was kind of like, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? That shit pretty dope. That she's obsessed with this character, whatever. She's this girl. She might end up being his lover. I don't fucking know. But to get the fucking reveal that she was the mastermind behind the shit that's happening to you right now. She is the reason why your father is on the run for murder. She is the reason why people have died up until this point. Why Japan is right now in turmoil, and no one would know about that shit. No one knows where this turmoil is coming from. No one knows where this illness is coming from. No one knows what Bloody Monday is. She does, because she orchestrated this shit to happen. I was like, whoa, what a fucking turn of events. Damn. And the last one on my list is Witch Hunter, and the title is Welcome to the West Coast. Witch Hunter is a series about a kid named Tasha Gospel, or Godspell, depending on which one you read, because I have two different versions of the volumes, and then one is Godspell and then the other one is Gospel, so I don't know. But it's a series about a world in which witches are abundant and some of them are evil, and they wage war against humanity. So organizations called witch hunter organizations were fucking created in order for humans, I'm going to say humans, but some of them have weirder properties than others, were brought together in order to combat said witches. Tasha, being one of the main characters, is also a part of the witch hunter organization. And he is he's one of the few characters who can manipulate magic. As always been said, women can manipulate mana. In this series, women are the ones who can do it. Even Merlin in this series had to become a woman in order to do it. Merlin in this series is a female, and that's the only way that Merlin could manipulate mana. But Tasha, who is a male protagonist, can manipulate mana. And in one of the chapters, we get the reason as to why. He is the reincarnation of the witch West. And by reincarnation, I don't mean like her spirit is inside this motherfucker, or that her essence is laying dormant in him. I mean, no, literally, he is her, and she is him. Literally. In the chapter, they're fighting two witches, and the witch's power is to turn back time in any given dimensional space. So she uses that power against Tasha to turn back time in order for him to become nothingness. She tried it against Tasha's rival, who's named Ryuan, but Ryuan is revealed that he is way older than what he appears. He appears to be a 17, 18-year-old kid, and when these two witches try to use these powers to turn back time about 60 or so years, it didn't work on him. He still looked exactly the same, and it's revealed that he's about 75. He's about in his 70s, so I was just like, whoa. But after that, when they used it on Tasha, Tasha seemed to go into nothingness, because it was just a fucking white cloud there. He seemed to be into nothingness. But then standing where he was is the legendary witch named West, who hadn't been seen in years and thought they had been killed. She's just standing there. And they're like, what the fuck? And she proceeds to use all these powers and all that sort of shit. But then she disappears once the witches die and the magic wears off. She disappears, leaving Tasha to fall forward. You see what I'm saying? So I was just like, whoa. He is her and she is him. That's why he's able to use this fucking mana. And also within that chapter, it is revealed that Ryuen and Tasha might not have the same master at all. Tasha uses these two guns that can channel mana through them, these mana pistols, if you will. And Ryuen also uses mana pistols. Tasha had a supporter named Halloween who was a pumpkin. Ryuen also has a supporter who was a pumpkin. Only Eddie Florence, who was Tasha's master, could have made those guns, apparently. But West gave those guns to Ryuen. She also gave Ryuen the pumpkin that he has. And Eddie Florence has said she's only had one student, which is Tasha. So the whole time I was just kind of like, how could that be if Ryuen is also there? They both have the same guns. They both have the same fighting techniques and styles. They both perform that technique, the Song of Morte sort of thing. So I was kind of like, what the fuck is happening? But in this chapter, so I was under the assumption, yeah, they probably do have the same fucking master. I don't know why Eddie isn't claiming Ryuen, probably because he's a douche, but they had the same master. No, it turns out that they might not have, because we don't know yet if West and Eddie are the same person, but it turns out that they might not have, because West was a totally separate witch than Eddie Florence, and Ryuen is 75 fucking years old. So, what? But there you have it though, man. That's my little list, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that shit though, man. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below to all this shit that I'm talking about, man. All these chapters, I'm gonna leave them in the description below. I'm also going to be uploading videos tomorrow, man. I'm not gonna tell you what though. I'm not gonna tell you what. It's gonna be a secret. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Happy New Year to all of you guys. You know what I'm saying? Hope you enjoy your 2016. Hope that it's better than your 2015. Hope that you have, you know, tons of sex if that's your goal. Hope that you lose the weight that you're trying to lose. Hope that you have a financial blessing that you want to get. I damn sure want one. So I hope you guys enjoy that shit though, man. I hope you guys have everything happen for you in 2016 that you want to happen for you though, man. I hope you guys like my video. Please thumb that shit up. Please subscribe to my channel, man. Share that shit with your friends, man. Also, man, big shouts out to Wolf the Back Hunter. You know, keep watching these videos. I don't know if there was a copyright thing with your channel. I can't remember, but shouts out to him. Shouts out to everyone who dropped me comments, man. Shouts out to people who just constantly talk to me on YouTube. Y'all cool as fuck. I appreciate that shit. Vashthekyd, go. You've done me wrong for a long, long time. My love would never die.